With more on the end of the historic actors strike, Extra host Billy Bush joins us now. Billy, you talked to Fran for 17 minutes. 118 days ago, she was fierce. She was fired up. She's fired up all over again now that it is over. What's your take on her role in all of this and how it ended?
Well, she looks terrific today. She really does. Yeah, 118 days ago, I remember when this strike began. It was July 13th. I was waiting on the street with about 1 million other crews. I saw her bus pull in. I got myself right to the front of the door. She got off that bus. She was fired up. She went in and gave this speech you're looking at, where she was just, shame on you. This is corporate greed. She fired shots at all the big corporations and all the studio bosses, and she was mad as can be. And now she's all smiles, and, you know, it's just business. I said, boy, if Washington could get a little taste of that, right? Where we used to, when I was growing up, it was Tip O'Neill and Ron Reagan, and at 5 o'clock they had a cocktail after fighting. You know, these guys, it seems to have ended very well, and I think in favor of the actors. It's $1 billion, you know, more for actors. The minimum goes up, the minimum pay, the scale pay goes up, you know, from to 7%. The directors and the writers went to 5%. So, you know, that all adds up. They made some movement on AI. You know, they can't just use the likeness and image of the actors. She was really strong on that. And then, you know, they have to be notified. And if they're notified, you assume, obviously, that leads to paid. So good moves everywhere.
So the strike is obviously over now, and we can start having production again, but it's not just like we press the pause button and then everything starts like where it was at. We realize sort of the financial challenges for a lot of the studios in all this as well. What are we looking at in the next few months in terms of cost cutting, potential job cutting, or what the new version of Hollywood will look like in the new year?
Well, you know, this deadline, remember those studio bosses said this is last, best, final. And look, they all know that this was really the line. You can't cross this line without, you know, or else you're going to sacrifice summer movies, the summer box office entirely, and the back half of the 2023-24 television season. So everybody had to get this done. But when they say last, best, and final, that means, I thought the studios and the AMPTP did a good job by saying, we'll say that, and then you just give a little bit more. So what Fran told me was, when they got the last offer, that's when they got to work, and they got to move that ball about 2-3 more yards. And then everybody said, okay, and that was it. So she really talked about it. She was on a Zoom with Donna Langley from Comcast and Bob Iger from Disney and David Zaslav from Warner Discovery. All the studio, Ted Sarandos from Netflix, they're all there, and her. And she was, you know, she was like, it was great to hold her own with it. She really seemed to enjoy it, I think.
Yeah, clearly. This is good news, Billy, for what you do for a living. How is this going to impact Extra?
Well, it's funny because on tonight's show, you know, we were doing the red carpet for Iron Claw, the Dallas premiere of Iron Claw, which is about the Von Erich brothers, the wrestling movie with Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White from The Bear. And those guys were just there to take pictures. And the moment that the news broke, we said, hey, you can talk now. Get over here. So Jeremy Allen was like, are you sure? So it was one of those great interviews. He was celebrating and very excited because he didn't come to talk, but he ended up getting to.
Of course, for 30 years, Extra has been in the business of talking to celebrities about their projects. That's the main point of Extra, which you haven't been able to do for the last several months. So more reason to tune into Extra tonight.
That's right.
And every night, right here at 7 o'clock.
But let me take this moment to thank the Real Housewives for filling in and doing such a great job in Extra. Thank you for the extra craziness. It really worked.
All right, Billy Bush, host of Extra every night right here on Fox 11. Billy, great to see you.
Thanks, guys. You too.